Welcome everybody again to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and we're talking live with the mayors and supervisors of the community we live in. Let's start off with Jerry in Rush. How are things happening in Rush, Jerry?
Everything in Rush is beautiful. We're the best kept secret in Western New York and continue to be. We didn't have any storm damage, and I will be very surprised if there's much trick-or-treating activity in the town of Rush. People are looking at these announcements coming from around the country about the COVID-19 starting to shoot back up, and nobody wants that to happen. So I think a lot of people are going to take whatever steps they can take to ensure that they don't participate in the escalation. I think that's probably enough to be said for the town of Rush.
Okay, that was great. Short but sweet. Rick, Village of Honeoye Falls. How are we doing there?
Good. We had a little bit of a wind and rainstorm this past week, and a couple branches down here and there, but not any major damage that we've seen. I happened to be in Skaneateles at the time of that storm, and my goodness, the storm that came through there, it was just unbelievable, and I was hoping we weren't getting that at home or hadn't gotten that at home. But in the village, we've had a couple things going on. Our project on Ontario Street, the storm sewer replacement project, is ahead of schedule. They continue to work hard on that, and we're hoping that the major work in the roads and stuff, will be done ahead of schedule, as I just said. But things are going well. The gas line replacement project should also be finished up this coming week. Two more cement pours to do and a couple things to fill in, but that project is moving forward well also. The Scouts, Troop 10 is talking about we're talking about Halloween. There's been a lot of mixed messages on that. The health department has initially said, had initially said that, they felt that it was still safe to do it, but just with caution. I did reach out to Monroe County, and I know Supervisor Moffitt's been on a couple calls as well. I haven't seen still a lot of real clear definition on yay or nay, but I've of course, as Jerry had just said, as some of the COVID numbers seem to be creeping up, it'll be interesting to see the number of people that do go out. But what we're telling folks really is that, we just need to be cautious. And a lot of people are going to leave their candy on their front stoops or on the front sidewalk area of their home on a table, and let people just come and take a piece of candy or whatever and continue on. But Troop 10 is talking about doing a trunk or treat type scenario at Harry Allen Park, where they would have a little bit of control on that, where the park would be shut down, and they'd line up some cars and let people kind of walk through, try to keep some social distancing in, and they'd have a set person, handing out some candy from each individual vehicle. So that's still in plan. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that is something that is being discussed. The Pumpkin Festival has been a on again, off again, on again scenario. We've had the Pumpkin Festival that the Girl Scouts have run for a number of years, and they have kind of a changing of the guard. But they have decided that they will still try to do their Pumpkin Festival, and it's going to be a very downscaled festival. It's really, there's going to be no food, no games, no music. It's really going to be a decorating your pumpkin, carving your pumpkin scenario. They're going to have them lined up through Harry Allen Park, where you can just walk the trail, see the see the various pumpkins, and that's going to be it. So that's in the planning stages still as well. We're, getting fully into our budget process, as has been talked about for the last couple of weeks. The county is working diligently with all the municipalities, and we're all putting together the numbers of expenses that we've had that are COVID related and sending those into the county, and then they're going to look at those to see what they can do to help as far as funding that they've received. So we're having some dialogue with the county with that. And then lastly, I'm sure people saw on the news this week, I am in a quarantine mode at this point in time. I attended a press conference in Syracuse on Wednesday, and it was headed up with NICOM and the New York State Conference of Mayors, and there were various mayors from across the state, and we were all talking about the need for federal funding for all of our municipalities, our villages, cities, towns. After that meeting, Mayor Rich David from the city of Binghamton was diagnosed COVID positive. We are all those of us that were at the meeting are all in quarantine mode at this point in time. I have been tested already and await those tests. And once I have those tests, we'll take the next step. I'll probably wait another 10 days and get a test done again. And just to make sure. So we're following all the protocols. The meeting that we had, the press conference, we were all socially distanced. We were all wearing masks. There was plenty of hand sanitizer there. We didn't socialize per se, just a quick hello and took our places. And Mayor David feels terrible. I mean, he feels terrible emotionally that, he didn't know, but he had no idea that he had any illness. He fell ill after the meeting. And we don't think that was COVID related, but as he was at the hospital, they, run their battery of tests. And of course they're checking everybody for COVID now. And he ended up testing COVID positive. So we'll see where it goes, but luckily we can do things remotely like we're doing today. And I'll work from home for now, and we'll go from there. So that's what
we wish you the best, Rick. Sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, I'm not trying to make light of it at all, but I truly feel that when those tests come back, they're going to be negative. I mean, I certainly hope that, but, I feel fine and have felt fine. I was tested about 2 weeks ago anyway, and that was negative. So the interaction that I had with Mayor David was very brief, and he wasn't exhibiting any signs. It was just one of those things. So, I feel as good as I can about it. I'm optimistic, and we'll keep everybody informed.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Mike, Town of Lima.
Okay. I know that the Livingston County Department of Health has posted some guidelines for Halloween. Otherwise, I don't have anything particular to offer there. But I do have some other news from county level this week. The sales tax draw for Livingston County on October 2nd turned out to be a reconciliation draw. The sales tax department does these draws occasionally where they go back and look and make sure everything is right. So instead of receiving the standard $138,000, Livingston County got a check that was north of $4 million. That puts Livingston County's sales tax ahead of what was budgeted, wipes out all the COVID sales tax down, all that other stuff. Now, that's not to say that they won't restate something as they have done in the past and pull some of that draw back. But as it is right now, Livingston County is up 2.5% over projected sales tax for this year.
Is that the original projection, or is that revised because of COVID?
Original.
Wow.
The original projection. Yeah, February was a massive influx of sales tax for us. And so then it fell off, and now we're way back up again. So a thank you to everybody in Livingston County who had their packages delivered by Amazon to their house and all those other things, because every little bit does help. News from the DMV. So the Dansville DMV is opening again. However, both the Geneseo and Dansville DMVs are restricted to Livingston County residents. Appointments only. Everything is online. You can go in, request the appointment, download all of the forms that you need so that they make sure that you're showing up with everything. It actually has worked pretty well. Going forward, we may actually keep it this way. It is so much more efficient to have everybody understand what the forms are before they actually show up and get evaluated and then turned away because they forgot some bit of registration information for their truck or their driver's license or what have you. It's actually made things much more efficient. The governor released a statement this past week saying that registration extensions, which registrations were extended under COVID, they expire on November 4th. After November 4th, if your registration on your vehicle or trailer or what have you is expired, it will then be enforced. So, New York State is not sending out a letter to you or any of that other stuff. It's all on you to make sure that your registration is up to date. New York State is also not sending out renewals for your driver's licenses, nor are they sending out your standard renewal for your vehicle registration, as I said. So it's up to you to watch, and then you're going to have to actually go and do it. New York State replaces the license plates approximately every 10 years. We have been officially informed that the 2 generations back red, white, and blue plates are not going to play well with the brand new toll system on the thruway. And so if you still have the red, white, and blue plates, like I do on my work truck and my 2 work trailers, they should be updated if you are going to be on the thruway. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for the readers to actually get you through the system. And that's all I've got today. Next, Eileen.
Okay, I'll go on then. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Bunch of stuff from Scottsville. See if I can get through it all. It's the minutia of the village. I met with our new superintendent of schools, Linda Quick. Very nice meeting, and talking with, anything that we might be able to do together between the village and the school. The North Road project, and I have a bunch of stuff on that I want to make everybody aware of. First of all, they are working on the east side of North Road. The west side of North Road is paved. Mailboxes have been put up. They've excavated and installed driveways along those things. They are now working on the east side of North Road, from the railroad tracks to the traffic light. And they're working on the drainage, the curbing, and they're getting all of that in. They're hoping to start paving near the end of October on that section. So they want to install the base course and the existing edge of the pavement and granite curbs all east of the railroad tracks and at the intersections. So they're working very diligently on that. I think they're a little behind schedule, but they're hoping to make up some of that time. The thing that really this impacts is my next topic, which is leaf pickup. The DPW is going to be starting leaf pickup on October 13th They will be coming around with the leaf truck and sucking up all the leaves along the edge of the road. The residents of the village are just reminded to please rake your leaves to the edge of the road. And one thing to help the DPW workers, and this is very labor intensive work, please don't put your leaves in a mound, kind of spread them out along your property. It makes it much easier and quicker for the DPW to pick up the leaves. In regard to that, we go back to North Road because of the paving and all the work that's being done on that road. If you are west of the railroad tracks on North Road, you can put your leaves out starting next week along the edge of your property, and the leaf truck will come along and pick them up as usual. If you are east of, now I hope I didn't get my east and west mixed up. If you are east of the railroad tracks, from the railroad tracks to the traffic light, they will not start picking up leaves with the leaf truck until November 9th because they are still working on that road. And by November 9th, they hope that they will have some of that paving done. At that time, you can put your leaves out, but please put your leaves between the curb, put them on the shoulder between the curb and the white line. They don't want them on your lawn because they'll be fixing the lawns during that time. And they don't want to ruin the seeding and everything else that they're doing, as well as picking up rocks and things like that. So please, if you're on the east side of North Road, if you want your leaves picked up right now, you need to bag them in those large brown yard bags, paper yard bags, and put them out. The DPW will pick them up, but if you want to just rake them to the side, please wait till after November 9th when you'll be able to rake them onto the, should be able to rake them onto the shoulder of the road for the leaf truck to pick up. I hope that all made sense. Next, our board meeting is this coming week, October 13th. It's a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Remember, our meeting is starting at a different time now that we no longer have the fire commissioners meeting beforehand. It will be in the municipal building, probably in the courtroom. It is open to the public. We will follow the CDC guidelines, and social distancing and the wearing of masks will be mandatory. The office is closed on Monday, October 12th, in honor of Columbus Day. One of the things that we're looking at that we know that has come through our health insurance provider made us aware of this again, of looking into paid sick leave per the New York State Labor Law, Section 196-B. And we want to make sure that all our policies are compliant with this new state law. So for us, it means looking at some things for part-time employees. So we're doing that right at the moment. The other thing I want to do is just clarify some information I gave out last week, and that is about the drop box that the town installed. It is for town business, and it is not in use at the moment. So please check with the town website to see when it can be used and for what purposes. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. As for Halloween, I think we're in the same situation that most of the other villages and towns are. We're following the guidelines from the state and the county. I think that, you know, it's going to be parents deciding whether they want their kids out. And I also think it's important, you know, we have seniors and everybody who may not want to answer their doors doing this and be greeting a lot of different people. And the thing I would suggest, if their porch light isn't on, please don't go to the house. You know, maybe they are just sort of unable to do that this year. I do know that some of the area places are doing that trunk or treat type thing. So if we hear of anything, we will make sure that we get that out to our residents and let them know. As for wind damage in the village, DPW didn't report any major thing other than, small branches and stuff have come down. So that's where we are, and that's it for Scottsville.
All right. Thank you, Eileen. John Moffett, Town of Mendon. How are things going there?
Good, Chris. Our highway department is in the middle of brush pickup. We're about a week into it. They start on the west side of town and work east. Once again, that's Town of Mendon residents outside the village of Honeoye Falls. So they'll probably be at least next week, maybe into the following week before they wrap that up. Also, our budget was moved to preliminary status at our previous meeting, town board meeting, and we will have a public hearing on October 9th. That'll be at the community center, 167 North Main Street in Honeoye Falls. And that will be a town board meeting that will also include the public hearing on the budget. The budget is flat for both town outside the village residents and village residents. Recently we've had an unfortunate incident with the tree on Route 15A near Plains Road that's on Mendon Foundation property, big oak tree, pretty famous tree in town during that last windstorm, received some extensive damage. So I have been talking to the Mendon Foundation. They're in contact with New York State because the Falls-Lima Road is a state highway. So I don't know what the outcome of what's left of the tree is going to be, but the Mendon Foundation will keep me informed on that. As far as Halloween goes, we're leaving it up to the residents, both the parents and the homeowners, as to what they feel is in their best interest, I think, which kind of echoes what everyone else has said today. We certainly, one of my favorite holidays, but we certainly want everyone to remain safe. So we would just ask that everybody follow the rules that have been set out by the CDC. I did want to mention that we, as I feel like I mention this almost every week, is we do have a couple of projects going on, roof projects, the charging station at the Mendon Public Library. For many people who view this on a weekly basis, you're probably wondering, gee, what's taking so long? Well, government does move slow. And when I first got involved in my position, and I realized how slow it does work. And it does work slow for a reason. It does work slow so that, there is a 7-Eleven doesn't pop up in a residential zone, or, there's not a nuclear waste site that all of a sudden opens up next door to your home. So there is a reason for that government works slow. But there's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross. So we are proceeding with those projects that I've spoken about several times over the last few weeks. I did want to mention that Election Day is coming up. We've had some residents go forward and being employed by the Board of Elections as far as election workers. And that is a very important position that we absolutely need. We had an article in the Sentinel this week about the need of election workers going forward, and we certainly appreciate everyone. So I would just encourage everyone when they go and if they're voting in person on Election Day to thank those workers for being there, because they are an important part of our democracy going forward. This is not a local year for our elected officials in the town of Mendon, with one exception. Mendon Highway Superintendent is on the ballot, and that is because the previous highway superintendent, Bud Smith, had retired. We appointed Andy Cachetta as the new highway superintendent, and so that position will be on the ballot this November, but that's the only one local to the town of Mendon. So once again, thanks to the Sentinel and all the other elected officials who are participating today. Not only do I get a chance to explain some of the things to our residents, but I get to hear what's going on in some of our neighboring communities.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Anybody else have something they want to add that they may have forgotten?
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll
I
add something,
Oh,
but I'll
Here we
yield to
go.
Eileen.
Okay. Well, I see Rick. Rick, do you have something?
oh, no, no, go ahead, Eileen. I'll
Okay. For us, I have some message from our code enforcement officer about burning, open burning. Just remember, you are supposed to use some kind of fire pit using only charcoal or clean, untreated or unpainted seasoned wood. We want to remember that everyone to remember that you cannot burn household trash. This includes anything recyclable. Recyclables should be put, we do recycling pickup all the time. Newspapers, plastic, glass, anything like that. You have a way to recycle it. Please do not burn it. And also, especially at this time of year, burning leaves is banned in New York State. So either put them out for us to pick up or compost them. Thank you from our code enforcement officer.
All right. Thanks, Eileen. Rick or Jerry, who wants to go next?
go ahead, Jerry.
All right. I'm almost embarrassed to say that I got my dates goofed up. That's why I didn't mention this initially. But we are having a budget hearing, public hearing next Wednesday, which I think is the 14th of October. And I hope people come and see where their money is being spent. The other thing I want to mention is on Monday, the 12th, which most of us know is Columbus Day, we are also having a declaration in the town of Rush to make this Indigenous Peoples Day. There is going to be a celebration at the Canawagas Historic Site down west of Avon, heading up near West River Road in Caledonia. I know that many representatives from the Iroquois and Seneca Nations are going to be there at 11 a.m. And then at 3 p.m., we're going to have another celebration here in the town of Rush, where we are going to read a proclamation honoring those Indigenous people who were here before us. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, because we are limited to 50 people in attendance in the open. And we've got wide open spaces here in Rush, so it'll be interesting to see if they gather in different groupings out of enforcement distance. But I hope we get at least 50, and that'll make me happy and should make others happy.
All right, great. Jerry, Rick?
Yeah, thanks. Actually, John and Eileen did remind me, this past Friday, the 9th, was our last day of brush pickup in the village. So brush pickup is done. Now, certainly if there's some people that are getting some branches or something out that was storm damage from the storm this past week, we'll take care of that. But brush pickup overall is done. We are now starting the leaf pickup. So like Eileen has said, please rake or blow all your leaves out to the edge of the roadway and on the edge of your property. And I agree with Eileen also. Try to spread those leaves out. It makes the pickup much, much easier for the DPW highway staff. So thank you very much for letting me mention that. I'd forgotten about it.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and everyone who's listening. We like to remind you, just return every Sunday at 1 o'clock on Facebook and 1:15 on YouTube, and we'll be giving you the Mayors and Supervisors update. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.